I'm Tom Colicchio, and this is my Meetup with MEATER. So today we have a rack of lamb. We're gonna roast that, rosemary, garlic, and then I'll finish it with harissa, and then some chilies and some paprika. So we have our lamb, and we're gonna season it. Good amount of salt. And I'm not gonna put pepper on this because I have a spice mix that's gonna go on a little later. So we're gonna start with a little olive oil in the pan. And right now the temperature is, it's fairly low, but the pan's hot. Throw it in, season the backside. Now, just gonna let this sear a little bit. After it's seared, we're gonna put it in the oven, and it's gonna stay in the oven for about maybe 6 or 7 minutes. This is only gonna take about 12 minutes to cook once it goes in the oven. I wanna sear it first, but then what we're gonna do is we're gonna brush it with some harissa, and then we're going to add a little spice to it. So this is gonna be spicy. This is some smoked paprika, chilies, a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and it's spicy, but not too spicy. And so the harissa will brush it with the harissa, and that'll help the spices stick to the lamb. Okay, that's really it. Just a little bit of a sear. And we're gonna add garlic, and we'll add some rosemary and thyme. So we're gonna set up our meter. And again, if you look at the probe, you can go in this way, but it's only gonna go about that far in, which is probably okay. And I think we're gonna set it, the next side, because of the fat, takes longer to cook. So we're gonna set it in the side here, and I'll go a little bit past the indentation, not too much, right there. And then, I don't like the way this is sitting. You gotta make sure that this probe is not on the pan. So we're just gonna push that out a little bit like that. That's good, okay? And then we're ready to go. Okay, so we'll set this up, tap. We have lamb, and we're gonna go to rib rack. And I prefer my lamb more towards the medium side, so I'm gonna click on medium rare, but then I'm gonna drop this up to like 37 degrees. So it'll be a little past medium rare on the higher end of medium rare, okay? And then we'll start cook, and that's it. Oh, listen, the great thing about the meter is you put the probe in, the tip senses the internal temperature of the meat, and then you also have another sensor that registers the ambient temperature in the oven, and it will give you a precise time to actually not only cook the lamb, but when to pull it out to reach your desired temperature, and also how long to rest it. So our lamb has been in the oven for about 8 minutes now. So I'm gonna add some butter to the pan. So we have our herbs and our garlic. I'm just gonna baste our meat. Sometimes it's a guideline maybe, that's when you start checking. But again, with the meter, you don't have to check, you take the guesswork out of it. Now I know when I turn my oven on and it says 350 degrees, I can guarantee you it's not 350 degrees. It's gonna be hotter or colder. Unless you're calibrating your oven on a monthly basis, which most people don't. I've had my stove for 10 years, I haven't calibrated it once. I don't cook the time, I cook the temperature. 5 minutes left in the cook. We're gonna add the harissa. So it's like a paste with a lot of oil. Kind of. And then we have our and I'm going to go right back in the oven. Okay. Give it a quick baste. We'll take it out of the pan and let it rest. the idea is once you take a piece of meat out of the oven or roast out of the oven, it's still gonna actually, the temperature is gonna rise. Even though we took it out of the oven, the internal temperature is still gonna go up. So right now, and this is what's really cool about the MEATER, because we're targeting 137, but it told me to take it out at 133, knowing that it'll carry over. That's referred to as carryover cooking. It'll carry over to 137, and that's our target. And so it's also telling me how long I need to rest this piece of meat. Okay, resting really important because during the cook, all the juices get pushed to the center, and then the resting period, they go back out. And once they go back out, we know the juices will stay in the meat. If I were to cut this now, all the juice would end up on this cutting board, and we don't want to do that. So we'll just take our time. And this is also a good time to, you know, if you have side dishes and stuff that you're preparing, getting ready, now is the time to do that while this is resting. Before the MEATER, I used to do it all by hand. And I still do, but I like using the MEATER because it just reminds me, because every now and then you're running around, you're rushing, you know, at this point of the meal, I'd be opening wine and things like that. And sometimes you just forget to take your meat and pull it out of the oven. So this will give you a nice little alarm, kind of a little kick in the head saying, okay, idiot, time to pull the meat out. There we go. That was pretty good. The dish works really well with chickpeas. Like a saute of chickpeas, maybe chickpeas with some carrots, celery, onion, like a little diced up mirepoix tossed in with it, lamb jus mixed together. It's a really great combination. Possibly a little dollop of yogurt to cool down that heat. But it's a great way to, I think it works really well. Those spices work really well with lamb. Yeah, perfect. So it's ready to go. So, cut. Last little bone, I usually just try to take it out. See, it's more towards medium. Next, again, that's what I'm looking for. I don't like my lamb rare, even medium rare. I like it more towards medium. So that's exactly what we're looking for. We have our 8 bones. We're gonna dust it with a little bit of Maldon salt, and then we're also going to take a little bit of our same spice mix just to go over the top. That's it. And if you want, we can go back to the harissa and just get some of the oil off the top of the harissa, just to kind of go over the top of that. And that's it. It's our 8-bone rack of lamb. Good. Pretty good.